Hello Summoners, my name is Joel and it's time to remind you once again that 2-year-olds never lie.
Legendary I butted!
Alright Summoners, we're here to talk about Arena and in particular the interaction with Arena and Legendary units. Real quickly, if you'd like to discuss anything you hear in this chapter, stop by the Discord server or find me on Twitter or Reddit. I love to talk about this stuff and I'd love to hear anything you agree with or you disagree with. You've probably heard that you cannot be competitive in Arena without at least 3 legendaries. And that is only true if you want to be in the top 900 players in that game mode. I understand if you do. I'm in that top 900. I enjoy that very, very much. The thing about Arena is it takes a lot of planning. My Arena core took about 2 years to build and I enjoyed every minute of it. I'm actually in the process of trying to update it now. And that kind of thing appeals to me, but it doesn't appeal to everyone. What we want to talk about here is maximizing your resources. And what you're going to find is the difference resource-wise from tier 21 to tier 20.5 is pretty negligible. Now this is yearly. The difference is 26 orbs, 260 divine codes, 13,000 feathers, 52 trait fruits, and of course 26 crowns. Now, the crowns I can't really say much for. Those are bragging rights. Everyone loves to see those. As for the rest, that's not a whole lot of difference. But just know that as we go through this, when I compare numbers for what it takes to get to tier 21 versus tier 20.5, we're talking monthly orbs of 300, monthly feathers of 80,000, and grails of about 80 per month. And that is an average number, and you'll see that pretty much plays out across our resources as we go. The one other thing is crest usage. You generally want to aim for about 4 points underneath your peak, and that's sustainable that way. There are times when you have to do more, but for the most part, you want to plan on every week 4 points under. The last thing is I've done all numbers at the 75th percentile. We had a big discussion in the Discord over whether that needed to be 50th or not. The fact is that at 50th, it's a coin flip. So we bumped that up just a little at 75th. Now I want to just briefly look over here at the cost difference between these 3 plans. At tier 21, 6,223 orbs. Now, in order to do the remix units, you're actually dropping that cost down to 5,655. But we're not going to talk too much about the remix units because that's really only 3 months difference in your income. And if you've already saved 19 months, you might as well wait the next 3 and get up-to-date units. Yes, Ryoma and Gunthra look amazing, and if you already had them merged up, you are so happy. But they are peaked right now. They will never get better. So keep that in mind. They are already at the lower end of what you need score-wise, and that will only get harder as time goes on, and you'll have to replace them sooner. So let's look at tier 21 threshold and what it takes to stay in. Now you're going to notice right off the bat compared to 20.5, this is all over the map. I do have to mention here, all of this data is collected by Emu over at Acarus's Discord. He is absolutely amazing, and it was really nice of him to let me use this data. Yes, he's incredible. If you get a chance to head over there, make sure to say thank you to him and say he's amazing. Now, peaks and valleys. So many of them. Guys, I could talk about this chart for a while. This is a lot of numbers. The big thing you want to notice is that 3,852 line. And basically what I'm saying is if you have a team that's capable of getting that score, then you should be able to stay in tier 21 most weeks. Now we should probably bring up on the slide the Almpocalypse, which was 3 weeks in season of Ulm, and he is a very popular hero. At 3,860 with this team, that means you would be fishing for 2 points underneath your peak. That averages out to about 59 crests per week. That is a ton. Again, not sustainable, but that doesn't happen often. It is predicted that we're about to have that coming up this next week, and we'll see how close to that we get. But understand that most of the time, 3,852 will do it. Also notice that this has been pretty stable for a long time. This chart is going back a year, and through all of the stuff we've seen, our highest numbers were 11 months ago when that Almpocalypse hit. So keep that in mind. IS, for all of our complaining, has kept these scores relatively stable. It's not to say we won't see a climb somewhere in the near future, but you gotta give props when they're deserved. So let's see what a Tier 21 Arena team actually looks like. So here we have our Legendary. In this case, we have Lilina. And we have our score bot in Brave Edelgard, who is by far the cheapest 190 they could offer us. Keep in mind, this unit has been sparkable, well, once now, about to be twice. You could have gotten this unit on tickets. I mean, this is not a hard unit to get. Then we have our Grail unit, and IS usually makes sure that we have one unit that is excellent versus the meta in the Grail pool. And that right now is Ninja Hannah or Young Inez. Now for Tier 21, you have to have someone who scores a little better than Young Inez. So we have Hannah here. And then you have your GHB unit. Now you don't always have to use GHB units, but they're a sure thing. This week, for instance, I actually had Legendary Sigurd that I pulled for fodder. He was excellent. And those weeks are nice. But lots of people had to use Sonya when she was a bonus unit. It was tough. That's what the team looks like. When you're looking at income, we've got about 80,000 feathers for our GHB unit. That's 3 unlocked potentials and 1 Aether. Then we have 2,200 grails for this Ninja Hannah. And then we have 1,100 orbs for Edelgard. That's assuming you sparked one. Now, if you sparked more times, it's cheaper. And that's not on a Hero Fest. That's on a regular banner. Then we have Legendary Lilina. Guys, this is a great looking team. I would love to have this team. All of my legendaries are old. I'm looking at you, Legendary Hector. But in this particular example, what you're doing is you're summoning both Lilina and Legendary Sigurd on the same banner. The cost savings there are tremendous. Now, that puts you at 1,427 orbs if you've summoned them on that shared banner. But let's look at the cost though as far as percentiles. Now, we talked about that legendary. Total, you are saving up 2,850 orbs to get 2 legendaries on that banner. And again, that 75th percentile, that is the important one though. You're looking for a banner that shares colors with at least 2 legendaries. Now, as far as a green legendary, and I'm saying green because they're the cheapest, that would be 2,270. And your Edelgard again is 1,100 orbs. Past that, you're needing 6,600 grails. You could probably lower that down, but the thing is, you've got to really watch your blessing management. It becomes critical when you're talking about Tier 21. It gets expensive to shift these units around. Particularly here, you're talking about shifting Edelgard every week. So just know that most likely you're going to have to build multiple Grail units. So, all together, that's where our total comes from. 6,220 orbs and 21 months. Yipes. 2 years later, you have a legendary core. I want to hop over and just look at my legendaries quickly, because this is important to know. Understand that your legendaries aren't going to be the most powerful units on the battlefield for very long. You can look, up until real recently, I was using Ike. And then I upgraded him to Legendary Self. It wasn't by choice. He just shared a banner with someone I liked a lot, in this case, Plumeria. And then I'm still using Legendary Hector and Legendary Azura. Those are not the highest scoring units, and that means I have to work really hard every week in order to stay in tier 21. And by hard, I mean I need to spend a lot of resources on it. So understand, yeah. But moving on, let's look at the tier 20.5 threshold. And this is much more stable. You can see that there is a peak and a valley and all that great stuff. But in the past year, I mean, again, this is not too bad. I believe what we're looking at in that February timeframe, that jump there is when we started introducing dual skills. And that definitely has increased the threshold for tier 20.5. So keep that in mind. They have expanded what you can use in Arena so much. It's absolutely fantastic. Now, I have to thank Misog for putting all of this data together. And if you haven't seen him on Reddit, every week he does an arena assault overview and collects data from folks on what thresholds are for those. It's absolutely fantastic. I've got a link in the notes to what his latest is. So pop by, give him a thanks, help him collect data. He is a great guy. Yeah, so let's look at what that team looks like at this level. Now, there are some huge differences you'll notice. One of them that isn't different is the GHB unit. It's just the constant. I've seen a lot of talk about using your Asker folks and giving them the latest skills and all that great stuff. Here's the thing. You're trading feathers for orbs, and orbs are valuable. It takes me 80,000 feathers to get value out of Sonya. It takes a lot more than that in orbs to get each Asker up and going. If I'm looking at average rates, we're talking probably about 600 to 800 orbs depending on how fancy and how much luck you get. That's for each Asker. That is a lot. If you are one of these people who like the Asker trio, by all means, go for it. Get them skills. You'll enjoy them. But past that, Young Inez is amazing. Yeah. And the thing about this plan is you don't need to bless folks. So you only need one Young Inez, and he gets to go with you every single arena season. Then you've got, again, Edelgard. That 1100 orbs, you just can't beat it for a 190. And I want you to notice the blessing here. This was on purpose. You can use this unit in AR. You don't have to bless them to stay in tier 20.5. And the last. Now this can be replaced with any dancer, but I like Racing best. 3 movement and healing. I mean, that's fantastic. It does cost a premium skill with that G-Dual Flying 4, and it does lower your score a bit, but trust me, bring a dancer to arena, your level of pain will decrease so much. It's just more fun that way. Now, as far as threshold, we're aiming for that 3,812, which means our ideal score range is at 740 to 754. Guys, I'm not going to tell you that this team is better than the last one. It's not. But it's so much cheaper, and you only have to play Arena every other week. So, yeah, it's nice. Let's look at the cost. We talked about G-Dual Flying 4. It's the only fodder that I've considered in this entire episode. That's because most fodder just comes to you either by free summoning somebody or by divine codes. Brave Edelgard again, 1100. Grail units, you have 2,200, which actually takes 7 months to earn. That's the driver here, believe it or not. I looked at summoning one of the 4 stars, but I mean, that bumps up your time by about 2 months as well. Right now, we're looking at an orb cost of 5 months worth of orbs and a grail cost of 7 months. So, I mean, yeah, this is the way I would go because it gives you extra orbs through those next couple of months to spend and splurge, and I like splurges. But the next question you should be asking yourself is, can this team actually win in Arena? It's a great question. I want you to look at this data just looking at Young Inez versus all of the Legendaries. I was absolutely amazed by this. This is a premium build, but again, you're only building 3 units for your entire year of Arena. That's incredible. So you don't mind so much putting all of this premium fodder in there. Anyway, he beats every single legendary of note. I just couldn't believe it. I couldn't believe he beat legendary Seliph. Keep in mind, as far as buffs go, all of these folks have +10 maxed out flowers, and then they have +6 omni buffs to every stat. That's what we're looking at. I mean, that is incredible that he does this well. 8 wins, 0 losses. Now that's player phase, and player phase isn't as strong as enemy phase, just to be honest with you. But it's nice to have that player phase unit in your back pocket. Now, when we're talking about Edelgard, honestly, she doesn't do as well versus the legendaries. That's okay because she does pretty well against the common threats in Arena. Now, you'll notice this has one glaring exception, and I haven't run any numbers for Fallen Edelgard yet. I can tell you I'm pretty sure this Edelgard doesn't do well versus her. Young Inez does, however, so keep that in mind. So, let's talk about the big summary with all of this. The first thing is, legendary units are only necessary if you want to be one of the top 900 players. From a resource standpoint, you can get to 20.5 in about a third of the time. That's nice. The other big takeaway here is, if you want to eventually move into tier 21, all of these units that you built can help you get there. So this is a great stepping stone to that. Basically what I'm saying is, if you are new to Arena, stay away from legendaries. Until you are ready to actually compete in tier 21, there's just no reason to start building them. All right, guys, I hope you enjoyed that. I know that was a ton of numbers. If you have stuck with me this far, you're incredible. I did want to just humble brag a little bit and just flash across all of the data that I collected for this very short episode. This is actually based on a podcast that I did. I was about 8 months back now, and I just wanted to do a refresh, and mainly I wanted to look at how the remix units worked into this. It's been really interesting. So yeah, if you liked the episode, leave a comment or subscribe. We have lots of stuff coming. If you'd like to reach out to the show, you can do so through our subreddit at r/Phaeology. You can email the show directly at phaeology@gmail.com. If you'd like to chat, you can join the research and development server or direct message us on Discord. Remember, you can send your voice messages through Anchor at anchor.fm/phaeology/message. And if you'd like to support the show, you can do so through anchor.fm/phaeology for as little as $1 a month. Hope you have a wonderful day and schedule an appointment with your phaeologist real soon. Take care, guys.